Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the More Than Mindset podcast. I am Mallory Vail, and I'm helping out with the show this week because, as Kim mentions, when we up level, our body goes through a physical crisis. And that's still true for Kim, even though she understands the process. It doesn't exempt her or anyone from experiencing the physical aspect of growth. This week, we're bringing back an oldie but a goodie reminder. We have so many clients who are in a massive growth spurt right now, and that can be a really tricky phase. Kim refers to that phase as the transition of transformation, and today's show will tell you exactly what that means. So here you go. Kim wants you to let her know if this sounds familiar to you, being in the space between who you used to be, but not yet who you're becoming. And if it does, please leave a rating and review and share the show. That's how we get this information out to more people who need it. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. Today we are going to talk about the transition of transformation. So what's happening with my clients right now is this exact thing. So I've experienced this several times in my own transformation, and the going from one level to the next level of belief and growing my business and growing myself, my relationships, my health. It happened in every area. In other words, when I was really understanding mind-body wellness and like what was the mind-body connection and what was the mind-body disconnection and what it was causing, when I was in this like in between, and I'm going to call it the transition of transformation. I knew what I knew, but I wasn't quite in full belief of it yet. So I wasn't getting the results and benefits of what I wanted by that. Does that make sense? So there's knowing and there's knowing. So you can know with your head, like, yeah, I know that. I'm the one who told you that. Like, yes, I can see that. But then there's a deeper knowing. So it's like those three levels of belief. It's like the three levels of knowing. I know it with my head, like with my mind, like I can see it. I see evidence that it's kind of obvious in some scenarios, maybe not all, but some. And then I know it on a level of I think it and I understand it. And then there's the level of I think I understand, I feel, I know. And it locks it in. So it's that transition between fully believing, fully knowing, fully owning. So I'm talking specifically to business owners or entrepreneurs, but you can use this in relationship, in health, wellness, whatever your particular situation is. If this does not pertain to your business in general, you could still use it for yourself in your work, in your service to the world, as well as your partnerships, and even your relationship with yourself. Because, like I said, it's the same thing that I experienced when it came to my health and overcoming all of these chronic conditions, illness, disease, all of the things in my body, all of the surgeries and adrenal fatigue, fibromyalgia, all of those things. This was the same exact scenario. It's like I knew it. I understood when the rheumatologist told me that fibromyalgia was self-inflicted. He said it's a condition of behavior. And I looked at him like, are you saying like I'm a hypochondriac? It's like, so I understood in the way that he was saying. He was like, well, it's a condition of behavior. So you not taking care of yourself and not understanding like the difference between people-pleasing, codependency, and self-care. Like there's such a deep level of this. I could talk about that alone, but I don't want to. I don't want to here because then I'm ranting. All right. So when I was experiencing this in my own health from habits and behavior that was causing illness and disease in my body, I went through this same transition of transformation. I knew it on one level, but I didn't fully experience the self-healing. So that showed that I didn't really understand it. So you know how I say your results are always evidence of your belief? That's what I mean. And so I'm going to use that in the same exact scenario here today with business. And I'm also going to mention that it was the same thing in relationships. So I knew my husband loved me. I knew I loved my husband. I knew my family loved me. I knew I loved my family. But there was a deeper level of it where I really didn't know. Right? So it's like I knew I had a little bit of evidence of it, but I didn't truly feel it. I did not feel safe. I didn't feel secure. I didn't feel this warm, cozy, comfortable safety, this safety net. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I know he loves me. Of course he loves me. I've been here for 30 years. Of course my kids love me. I'm their mother. But there was a deeper level of truly knowing that in such a safe way that I felt grounded and supported. And my nervous system was able to relax and enjoy rather than always be on the white knuckling and like trying to make myself belong by people pleasing, overdoing, overgiving, always making sure that I was safe and not letting anyone down, because that could mean that I was rejected. Okay. So I know I kind of feel like I'm ranting and I kind of don't, because I want to express it is the same exact thing, no matter what it is that you're dealing with. It just so happens that I'm talking about business today. So, well, actually on this podcast, the whole entire show is about that, but how we do anything is how we do everything. So just know that if you are in the middle of change, you will experience this transition of transformation prior to fully possessing the belief. And this is where most people give up. This is when they throw in the towel. This is when they quit. They say it gets too hard. They don't have the evidence. They don't have the proof. It's never going to happen. I've done everything. They all say that. I've done everything. We've tried everything. I've done all of that. And it's like, no, you haven't. Because you haven't done it from a place of believing. You haven't done it from your future self. You haven't done it from the place where it's already been done. That sort of belief. So if you've been fooling yourself, walking around saying you've tried everything, you've done everything, nothing works for you, you're a unicorn, I don't understand, your family is different, your relationships are different, your body is different, your money is different. BS. You can't sell me that, guys, because I've experienced all of it and it was not true. It's been proven over and over, time and time and time again, in my own business, in my own life, in my own relationships, my own health, and with lot of clients and their clients. So just know that the Unicorn Act is not going to help you get to the next level. See if you can settle into ears wide open and just say, I'm willing to receive new information today. I'm willing to experience something I possibly haven't considered before. I could be wrong. Maybe I haven't tried everything. Maybe I'm not seeing the whole picture. Maybe I have some cognitive dissonance and there's this space between the old and the new, and I keep getting drugged back to the old without being aware of it. In other words, it's unconsciously happening. I'm slipping back into disbelief and not recognizing it because it is so familiar. So you could call this the river of misery. You could call this denial. You could call this, it's actually between denial and doubt. There's this little act in between. It's like, I'm still doubting it could be true. I'm denying that, like, it could be possible. There's this lull in between the worlds. And that's this space I want to talk about today. So it's what I want, what I don't want. And so if you're constantly saying that, like, I don't want that, just know that you focusing your attention on what you don't want, it is still in the awareness of what you're speaking. So see if you can start noticing how often you say what you don't want. And then notice how often you live in the belief of what you do want. Because it's the space between those two worlds. This is who I am. This is who I am not yet. Yeah? Can you get that? So there's different layers that we're going to speak about today. And one is like, we're just going to talk about energy. So when we do energy work, and I know some of you are yoga teachers, Reiki masters, massage therapists, and you understand what I mean by moving energy. We have the ability, all of us, not just me, not just those people, but all of us, every human has the ability to move energy. It's more about getting rid of all of the things that you are not so that you can tap into all of the things that you are. And that's when it's accessible. And so if you have no proof about the accessibility for yourself, just know that it's probably because you're still conditioned and you're in this societal story or this fear of religion or whatever that says that you can't do it or that it's not safe. Just know that. Anyway, when we talk about energy and moving energy, it is instantaneous. So when I do regression work, hypnotherapy, energy work with someone, and I take them down into the portal, and I take them down into their body, that's what I mean by the portal. It's this space that I hold. It's this, you can imagine a portal in the sky, right? So it's like that roundness of the clouds, like right in between the clouds, or the portal when you're looking into the trees and there's this clear shot to go. It's like this portal. It's just a conscious potentiality, I'll call it. So what's happening is we're moving the energy, we're doing the regression work, we're getting really conscious of the unconscious, and that's where we're uprooting the story of disbelief. When we are in that space, the energy moves in the moment, and you get the liberation, the freedom, the relief in the moment. It is felt on all levels. There is a deeper understanding, and it is imprinted in the system. And when it is imprinted in the system, then you can now grow that feeling. You can grow that freedom and liberation and that inner knowing. And then you can create belief from there. I say it's just a shortcut. So if you guys have been dealing with this for years, trying to get yourself beyond disbelief and to create more money in your business and you're not able to do it, it's possibly the unconscious story that's locked in. Okay, so just side note. The second thing we're going to talk about is essence, consciousness, and awareness. So just soul essence and being aware of conscious choices. So most of us live 95% of our life unconsciously. Like imagine just when you're brushing your teeth, right? The minute you put the toothpaste on, like you're in la la land and your hand is just going to work. It's just going to town because you're actually very absent-minded. Think about when you drive yourself to work every day or when you drive yourself down the road and you're like, how did I get here? Like we're not even aware because once we are comfortable with doing something, we go into autopilot. Well, we do this with our habits and behavior. And so, of course, it's going to show up in our belief work. It's going to show up in what we're trying to create. And that is why we have this transition of transformation. The third thing I want to mention is we're going to talk about linear time. So energy moves instantaneously. We tap into this essence, consciousness, and awareness, and that's where we're able to make the switch and create the imprint so that it is now felt. So once the belief is felt, then you can grow it and then you can attract it. That is how you manifest. That's like the law of attraction. Law of attraction is not just a positive affirmation and then you just wait for it to happen. It's actually a positive affirmation that you believe and you can feel, and then it comes to you because it's being drawn in by the feeling. So what's happening in linear time is that the energy is moved, the essence and consciousness and awareness is there, the imprint has been stamped, it is happening, and it's like coming towards you, but then we live in this time and space. We live on Earth. We have this linear time. So we have to wait for the results to catch up. And most people fall into disbelief before it comes. That is the transition of transformation. It's the lull in between the states of belief and disbelief, of change, in between what I do want and what I don't want, what I am and what I am not yet. It's that space right in between. And that's like that tangible. We have to watch it happen, but you can't see it happen. You just have to watch the time and it drives you batshit crazy. It's this ability to practice believing deeper, practice believing more. This is the space where we grow patience. There's 3 things for you to do. Once you've tapped into the energy, we've moved it instantaneously. We're in this soul essence, which is just consciousness of knowing. Those things have already happened. The vision has already happened. The results are already on their way. And because you can't see it, you can't tangibly see it, you can't grab it, you can't experience it in the earthly realm yet, you quit believing. I don't see the results. It hasn't happened. I've tried everything. And the minute you do that, you are closing the portal. You are closing the door. You are blocking off that open space for reaching the potentiality and possibility. That is the transition of transformation. How can you stay in the space and instantly catch the disbelief, catch the thought, catch the doubt, the fear, the moment? It hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen. I thought this would be the moment those thoughts come in. You have to catch it. That's not true. That's not me. That's how it used to be. And you just interrupt. You stop right in the middle and you come right back into belief. And you practice feeling the belief. You come back to the imprint. Now, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you possibly have not had energy work done, or you haven't done any self-healing, or what I'm talking about in that world of working beyond the mind. Those of you who have done that already, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because you know that imprint was there. You know you felt that belief. You know that it happened beyond the mind. And what I mean beyond the mind is it beyond the tangible world. We spend most of our life creating from our brain, creating from our mind. Our frontal cortex makes decisions. It's always like thinking. It's like our powerhouse. The problem is we're in our head too much. We're always spinning and looping and problem solving, and we don't have this open space for the magic to come in. So it's like we use our mind to create the vision, and we use our body, our feelings, our sensations to create the attraction. Therefore, those two create the result. If you are not familiar with what I'm talking about and you want to experience it, send an email. I will hook you up with one of the coaches. Or if you are a business owner and the problem is you can't attract clients and money and you want to work with me specifically, like for sure reach out and say, okay, this must be my problem because I've tried everything else. I have all these trainings. I've taken all these business courses. I have done everything else and I just can't figure this out. Then it is most likely an unconscious rooted belief. And you're not going to be able to find it from the mind space. You're not going to be able to find it from thought work. That's why this thing is called More Than Mindset. It goes beyond the thinking mind. We work on another level, which is in the energetic world, in the spiritual world, in this conscious awareness. And we integrate all of that together and have this amazing experience. I'm like, all of these people who have been manifesting, who talk about the secret and the law of attraction and all of this stuff, they don't talk about this part. Gosh darn it. Just made it out like it's just your beliefs. It's just your beliefs. You just need to change your thoughts. And I'm like, BS. There's more. Guys, you got to get some coaching. You got to get some energy work done. You got to get really come in a little closer. Come in a little closer. If you're frustrated, beating your head against a brick wall, you've been doing self-help work for 30 years. You've done all the spiritual things. You've done all the quantum leaps and all the whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The crystals and I almost said the howling. The howling. You know what I'm talking about in the spiritual world. You've done all of the magical things. You've done all of the sacred things. You've done all of the mantras and the singing and the chanting and the dancing and all of that stuff, and you still haven't manifested what it is that you want. Know that it is most likely an unconscious story. You have to go beyond the mind to get it. This is your invitation. So if you're waiting for an invitation, this is it. It might be something you want to look into. If it's questionable, send me an email. Go to kimguillory.com, book now, book a consult, or send me an email. All right, I'm moving on. That was like my little spill in the middle. So your job is to practice believing for longer. So you can go back and listen to belief capacity. I've been talking a lot about this lately. The second thing is for you to begin growing patience so that you can wait for linear time to catch up, because know that it's already been manifested. It's already there. Your disbelief is actually what's pushing it further away. The third thing for you to practice is allowing. So you first notice there's a problem, you ask for the answer, then you get the heck out of the way and you allow it to come to you. The transition of transformation is in between the 2 and 3 step. So we have no problem saying what the problem is, right? Like that's easy. Everyone is always saying what they don't want. That's not the problem. The problem is once you ask for what you want and you stand in belief of it, you keep negotiating that belief. I only want to believe it if I can see that it's true. I don't want to be made a fool. I don't want to believe something that's not possible. I don't want to get my hopes up. All of that stuff, unconscious BS. It's all belief system. All right. So I want you to walk away from this session today with an understanding that you create what you believe. And the way you test that belief is by your results. So how is your life today? Your relationships, your health, and your wealth. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate all those 3 areas? This is your homework. If you do not have what you want to create, it is because you don't believe it. I'm telling you, I am 100% certain of this. It is not because there's an outside source, there's an exterior thing happening. It's not because the life is out to get you. It is not because you are a victim of the circumstances. It is none of that. It is all because the unconscious story is driving the show, period. And once you understand that you create what you believe, you are the creator of your life. The way you create is by feeling. And so if you've only been doing the thought work and you're missing the feeling work, then you possibly have not gotten the results you want because you're missing the key element. And the only way to truly feel it is if you truly believe it. And so if you are saying thoughts that you don't truly believe, then you're not going to get the results that you want. Okay? Because what really matters is what you really, really believe, not just what you're saying you believe. So understand you're the creator. The way that you create is by feeling, and the way you feel is by believing. So your thoughts for sure create your feelings. Your thoughts and feelings together are your beliefs. Because a belief is just a thought over and over and over again until it's locked in, until it's sealed. So number 1 is understanding. Make sure you understand. Number 2 is the awareness of consciousness and unconsciousness. Knowing the difference between I don't want and yet I'm doing this. You say, I don't want it. I have clients who are like, I don't want to be married to him. I don't want to be working this full-time job. I don't want, but they're doing it. So there's a conflict of interest. So if they don't want it, why are they doing it? See what I'm saying? It's sneaky. I'm going to save this for a whole nother episode because I'm going to go in deep about it. But I want you just to bring that awareness to yourself. Or are you saying you don't want something, but you're actually doing it? I don't want to be doing this, so I'm only doing it up until a certain amount of time, or but be very careful with I don't want to be doing this, or I don't want this, and yet you are in it. Because your actions of staying in it are actually proving that you do want it, because we only do what we want the results of. Sorry to break the bad news. All right. So understand awareness of consciousness and unconscious, and know that the unconscious is likely driving the majority of your life, and that your actions are what is guiding your results every single time. Feelings are what is driving those actions. So if you're saying, I don't want this, yet you're doing it, the action is you are doing it. And there's actually a feeling that's driving you to do it. So if you're saying, I don't want to be in this circumstance or this situation anymore, and you're doing it, you're actually doing it because of a feeling. I am afraid to take a chance on myself. I am afraid to leave. I am afraid to change, right? So the feeling is actually driving the inaction, which is why you're still doing it. Bingo. Okay, got that? So actions guide all of your results. Feelings are what drives those actions. Thoughts are creating the feelings that drive the actions. So it starts with a thought. I don't feel like it. You guys will say that all the time. I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like getting up and exercising at 5:30 in the morning. I don't feel like going at 5:30 in the afternoon. I can't make myself do it because I don't feel like it. And you're like at the mercy of your feelings instead of realizing that you're actually the director of your feelings. The way that you create a feeling sensation that you want is by changing your thoughts. You want to feel inspired, then you have to think inspiring thoughts. You have to believe inspiring beliefs. You want to feel in love. You want to feel joyful. You want to feel compelled. Your thoughts drive those feelings every single time. You want to feel loved. Think lovely thoughts. You want to feel happy. You want to feel successful. Then you have to think those thoughts. And then once you're feeling it, you will take the actions to do it. And that is what will drive the results. So if you're waiting on the side of the road for God to put gas in your car, instead of you making the decision and getting up and doing your own work and doing it yourself, you may end up spending a lifetime on the side of the road waiting for someone to come with a gas can. I hear this a lot with you healers, especially because there's this icky about money and there's this, I need to do this work and this is what I'm inspired and this is what I'm compelled to do and this is my soul journey. I just know it in my heart. And then you're waiting for something outside of yourself to give you results in advance, but you're not creating the action that's creating the results. Okay? So there's this point right in between, and this is what I want you to work on. It's that transition of transformation. See how long you can hold the belief patiently and allow the results to come to you. I am not saying sit on the sofa, watch Netflix, and wait for clients to come. It's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying your job is to shift your belief. Consciously feel inspired by the service and the work that you offer. Feel that in advance, the way you're going to feel once you sign up the clients, once you make the money, feel that in advance right now, and then act from that place when you are already that person. Soon as you fall into disbelief, because you're in that transition, you haven't fully transformed yet. You're not the believer yet. You're not in the results yet. And so this transition of transformation, you just keep reminding yourself, this is not me. It's not time. It's already coming. They're already here. I can already feel it. Oh, there it is. There it is. And you keep taking that belief up, up, up. You keep growing it, keep growing it. When you wake up in the morning, when you open your eyes, it's, and you're thinking, oh shit, another day. Like, stop. Oh, I'm so lucky to be able to live today. What is today going to bring? Am I willing to be surprised by today? I am so curious to find out what today brings and just keep growing that thought, growing that thought, growing that thought. Instead of falling into the disbelief, falling into the bottom of the crab pot, falling into the mud, right? You want to raise it up before you even get out of bed so that when you put your feet on the floor, it's coming from a space of anticipation, not dread. Got it? All right. I hope this is helpful for you guys who are in the middle of not fully owning who you're becoming, sitting in doubt that you can even do it, that it's even possible. If you can bring yourself to the space where it's already happened and practice patience and practice allowing and practice believing, get yourself some help, get some coaching, reach out, come to the Integrative Life and say, hey, I heard the podcast. I want to know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you mean by energy and essence and consciousness and instantaneous and all of those words. Like, I'm not sure what any of that means. Then ask. Just ask the question. Send an email to kim@kimguillory.com and inquire. If you are a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur in the healing world, health and wellness, if you are someone who does light work, energy work, mind-body connection, that type of stuff where it's a little bit of mindset mixed with the body work, then I invite you into my world. We have a mastermind coming up in February. I would love to have a conversation with you and see if you are a fit for that. It's a very small group I take. We dial in, we do this work in a very logical way. It's a really simple approach, but it's experiential. So I take you through the process. I do the actual work on you. We go in, we dissolve the unconscious stories, we rewrite them, we bring you up to par in belief. So all of the work that I'm talking about here, we take you through personally and then integrate it and take it out into the world professionally. That is what I do. That's what I show and help you to do, is how to reinvent yourself from a disbeliever to a believer. How to reinvent yourself from I want to I am. That is the work. That is the magic. And that is my mission, to help more of you get your magic out into the world. Stop sitting around and thinking it's not possible for you. It's because you live in a different region of the world and you don't have people who will pay you for your services, and you don't understand how to market and how to package and how to run a business for healing, and you feel guilty about charging money and you feel like you shouldn't be charging for spiritual gifts. If this is you, suffer no longer. Guys, get this story off of your chest so you can get out into the world and help people self-heal. There is a need for it. There is a demand for it. People are paying for it. I paid thousands of dollars. I promise you, there are people knocking at my door asking for help. I'm talking just clients in general. They are not professionals. I'm very picky about who I work with. And so I'm telling you, for sure, there is work out there for you. It's about you coming into your own belief. So if you're saying they don't believe, they're not committed, they don't want, I want you to look in the mirror and recognize that that is you. That is your work for the week. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.